Hi, I'm Karen Walker, and I'm the Community Education Manager here at Arkansas PBS. And one of my most favorite things to do is read. So today we have an amazing little book called Miles' New Beginning by Latia Wyatt, and it's illustrated by Fazia Najim. Miles couldn't wait to begin his first day at a new school. When parents moved to the small town, they told him things would be exciting yet different. Much to his surprise, he enjoyed his new room, filled with all of his old things. So far, the only thing new was the location, his house and his new school. His life at home was the same. Miles knew he had to get a good night's sleep before going to Mrs. Tenney's class in the morning. So as he laid down to sleep, he dreamt of his day. Dressed in a red shirt, navy pants, and cool sneakers, Miles was off to his first day. Or so he thought. As Miles began to walk into his new school, he was met by an unfamiliar face, a dragon. That can't be right, Miles said, but since it was new, he kept walking. Soon Miles came across a beetle, ant, and dog, all dressed for school. Wait a minute, Miles thought. I must be lost. Miles quickly turned around and noticed all sorts of animals, the same size as him, dressed in human clothes. He rushed to Mrs. Tenney's class, fearing there must be some mistake. Mrs. Tenney, Miles exclaimed. Just then, what appeared to be Mrs. Tenney turns around, and Miles can see that Mrs. Tenney was indeed a giant flamingo who was going to teach the class. Oh, hi, Miles. How can I help you? Mrs. Tenney said. Miles stopped dead in his tracks. He wasn't prepared for Mrs. Tenney to be an animal, too. A beautiful one with soft feathers and a bright smile, but an animal nonetheless. Once again, nothing but silence. Miles was stunned. I know what you're thinking, Miles. You weren't expecting me to be this glorious with these feathers and red-rimmed glasses. I know, I get it all the time, Mrs. Tenney said. Yeah, that's it, thankfully. Miles, at age 6, chose to agree. Now, Miles, if you could kindly have a seat by Carly Ray, we can begin class, said Mrs. Tenney. Miles took a few steps towards this long table and saw a pretty green turtle waving at him with a brown and gold shell. Hi, I'm Carly Ray. You must be Miles. Miles instantly wondered how she knew his name until he saw a blue sign in front of his chair. What kind of animal are you? You don't have scales, fur, or feathers, said Carly Ray. Oh, me? I'm just a regular boy. I'm new here, and from what I can see, the only one who looks like me, Miles said. Oh, that's no problem. We are all different here. But the cool thing is, that is what makes us all wonderful, said Carly Ray. Miles sat in amazement, listening to Carly Ray when Mrs. Tenney walked up to the board. Class, please welcome Miles, our new student. Miles, please stand, said Mrs. Tenney. Miles stood and looked around. Not one single student was like him, but he was okay. He realized that differences are what make us unique. No matter what color, if you have feathers or fur, you matter, so just be you. Miles flashed a big smile, and as he began to speak, he woke up. No way, said Miles. Miles ran to the bathroom to brush his teeth. Today was a big day, first day at a brand new school. Mama dropped Miles off. There he was, walking into Mrs. Tenney's class. So far, so good, Miles thought. Mrs. Tenney greeted him with a huge smile and those red-rimmed glasses. I like your dress, Miles said. Mrs. Tenney was wearing a white dress with pink flamingos on it. Thank you, said Mrs. Tenney. As Miles walked to his seat, he saw a shiny notebook with green turtles on it. He knew this had to be Carly Rae's. Just then, a girl with a brown dress and bright green shoes introduced herself as Carly Rae.